second week of October now, and this is a week typically in most years when I don't do a whole lot in the field. It's time that's right in the middle of the October lull, and this year it's even worse than most years because the temperatures have been really unseasonably warm. We've had mid 80s every day here for the past 3 or 4 days, 5 days. It's supposed to be warm again today. I think it's starting to drop off temperature-wise as the week goes on, and I'll probably start to look for ways to get into the field at that point. But as far as doing any serious hunting for any of the bucks on my hit list, I'm not going into the woods for that right now. We've got 250 people on the Midwest Whitetail Pro staff, and as far as I know, during this past week, most of them were out at least on the weekends, and nobody has shot a buck that I'm aware of. So it's a pretty good sized sample group with a pretty low success rate. So that's got to tell you something. This is the October lull. You know, the bucks just aren't moving much. They're primarily nocturnal. We're seeing it on the trail cameras right now. The bucks just aren't coming out much during the day. So why fight it? I've got some other things I need to do. There's plenty of opportunity to improve my shooting skills, get all my gear ready. I've got a few tree stands to move and prepare. So first I'm going to show you what I carry with me when I go in to put up a tree stand. I'm always real curious about what other people carry. It just seems like such a practical thing. What do you have in your fanny pack? That's kind of a fun thing that I'm always, like I said, I'm always wanting to know what other people are carrying. So I thought maybe you'd enjoy seeing what I carry. The main thing, of course, is the pack itself. And I carry a fanny pack, and I wear it on the front because it's easy for me to access the items that are in the 2 compartments. And then when I'm climbing, I can lay my tree steps on top of it, and everything's real handy and easy to grab. Inside it, I've got my favorite limb saw. And this one's seen a lot of miles. I've got about 5 or 6 of these things, and they're made by Browning. And I always have felt like, through all the limb saws that I've tested over the years, these are the most durable and the sharpest. They have a nice thin blade, so it doesn't take as much effort to cut through a branch. They're just a great limb saw. Pull-up rope, gotta have a pull-up rope. But let's get into some of these other items. And this is one that I feel is the most important thing that I carry into the tree now. And I didn't used to use them. Just over the past couple of years I've started using these, and this is a safe line from Muddy Outdoors. So the first time I go up, I hang this thing in the tree at stand height, and then when I climb down, I tie it off at the bottom of the tree, right towards the ground or on the bottom step or whatever. And then when I climb, I just buckle into it with my safety harness, and it gives me so much peace of mind. I like screw-in tree steps. I carry about 9 of them when I go in to set up. Nothing super fancy here. They're just basic, heavy-duty screw-in tree steps. I carry an extra one that has a real sharp thread on it, and this one I think is made by Cranford. And I use this as a hole starter on some of the trees that are real hard, like some of the locust trees and some of the oaks and some of the other trees that I sometimes climb into. The tree itself can be such a hard wood that it's hard to get these steps started. So I carry this one just as a hole starter. That's what's in the pack, basically. The stand itself, I like a portable tree stand. Obviously, the lighter the better if you're going to be going in and taking it down and bringing it back out again. Most of the time I'm hunting on private land, and I'm not carrying the stand back out with me. So typically I'm going in and putting up a tree stand and leaving it for the rest of the season. So I'll go with something just a little bit more solid. This is a big, heavy-duty, solid stand, and I wear the harness, and there is a rope that attaches to this harness that goes around the tree, and I found that to be extremely useful when you're climbing in and putting the tree stand up. So I always use that. It seems like a lot of extra trouble to go through, and you just hold on to the tree and screw your steps in and stuff, but what I found is this really isn't that much extra trouble. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit weaker. I'm not able to hold myself into the tree quite as well, and it's just a matter of time before I'm going to fall out when I'm putting the tree stand up. But like I said, I'm always curious what other people carry, so this is what I carry when I go in to put up a tree stand. So now I want to give you a couple of last-minute tips on shooting. I'm going to walk you through something here that, I don't write about it very much, but I think it's just as important as any other part of the shot, and that's what you're focused on, your mental approach, kind of what you're doing at full draw. So I'm just going to walk you through it here real quick. First thing I'm going to talk about is aim time. And experts that I've read not only just in archery, but in other fields of sport. They say that a person can only keep their undivided attention on one subject for about 7 seconds. But what that tells me is that I've got basically 7 seconds from the time I settle and make that effort to trigger the shot until the shot has to go. So I get into a routine of not shooting quick, but once I drill in on the spot I want to hit, I try to get that shot off within a few seconds. So I pick as small a spot as I can. If it's the size of an aspirin or one hair or something like that, so much the better. Because you've heard the old expression that if you aim small, you'll miss small. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So I get my focus locked in. Now I'm going to get that shot off within 7 seconds once that focus locks. So let's see if I can do this for you. Okay, full draw. Okay, I haven't locked in yet. Okay, I just locked. Within about 3 or 4 seconds, the shot went off. I'm squeezing the trigger. I'm letting the pin float. I'm focused on the spot I'm trying to hit while the pin's floating around it. At the same time, I'm squeezing the trigger. And usually that, because of, like I said, repetition and spending some time in the yard working on it, that usually goes off within 3 to 4 seconds, roughly. Anyway, hopefully these tips will help you. I'm going to keep doing this for about the next week or so. I'm not going to start hunting very seriously until the 25th of October. We've got a lot of work to do in the office to clear the schedule. I know from experience that what happens between now and the 25th of October usually isn't anything super good anyway. If we get a cold front through and the winds are just right for some of my stands, I might slip in and set up on some acorns, just kind of see what's coming out. So that's kind of what I got in mind here. I have to apologize that things aren't more exciting at this time, but I'm not going to blow smoke. This is a tough time of the season. So good luck this week. We'll be back here again next week for the next episode of Whitetail Season right here at AmericanHunter.org.